This is a lot of XPS foam, and what have I gotten myself into this week? Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Garmin. This is the Storycraft Society, and this week we're going to be talking about why I have all of this massive amount of XPS foam around me. People who have been watching the channel for a while may have remembered a year or so ago maybe, I ended up getting a bug up my butt and I was like, I'm gonna make a big epic hill. Why? I don't know. Because I want to. That's why. Well, I've been suffering under a similar affliction for like the last month and a half. I want to make a big modular, or I guess semi-modular city board, something that will fill up my whole gaming table if I want, but more specifically, I need a bunch of versions of a 3x3 gaming surface, both for my games of Dungeons and Dragons and my games of Moonstone the game. If you haven't heard of Moonstone the game, it is an amazing tabletop skirmish game, but the goal is I want to have something that will work for both of those things. And I've made boards in the past, city boards, and what it really did was it just whetted my appetite for wanting something that's a little bit more modular, that isn't a bunch of small 3" by 3" dungeon tiles that I could spread out and make a big sprawling city scene with some high places, some low places. I broke out a bunch of XPS, and now what I'm gonna be doing is over the next few weeks, I'm gonna be building this massive modular city board out. So let's talk about the goals real quick. My number one goal is I wanted as many different layouts as possible while keeping as large of chunks as possible. So if I were to make one singular 3x3 board, then that would mean that it would be one board, one layout that I could make. So the idea that I came up with as I started sketching this all out was to do two pieces that were 1.5 foot by 3 foot. That way you can put them together, I believe, 3 different ways so that you could get 3 different boards out of them. But then to do 4 pieces that are all 1.5 by 1.5. So then those could be put together in combination with the larger pieces a bunch of different ways. I could get a lot of different city scenes out of that, and I think it's going to turn out great. So as I was sketching the things out, I made individual pieces of templates to give myself the idea of what it would look like looking down. So let's jump up to the table and start seeing what that looked like. So as I made my templates, I made them in pieces. So there is 1, 2, and then A, B, C, and D. Now, the way that 1 and 2 work is that they fit together. They are, the main configuration anyway, is like this. So what will happen is that there will be a top section here, a small set of stairs there, with a ramp that comes down to a sidewalk here, a main street section, then that street makes a T intersection here with sidewalk around there, sidewalk around here. Then there's a top part here with a ramp that comes up like that, a set of stairs over here that makes it that you can get up to this top bit either this way or this way, and then a ramp that switchbacks right there to get up to a tip-top section that is there. So this will be the highest section on these 2 boards, but you'll notice also flip them around and I could do this. And what that'll end up doing is that will put a road here with the top section and then the top section. So these will be basically flat with a small street in between. And then this street will look down over this street. The sidewalks will just run in right there. And then of course this will still set a little bit up over there. And then the final version, I believe, is like this, which will then be another T intersection, but instead you'd have to go way around to be able to get up to this top part here, and same thing there. As for A, B, C, and D, this is going to make another T intersection where we've got the T that is here with the street there. We've got sidewalks running like that. Then we have a top section here that's going to end up being kind of a big one. But then we have a top section here that eventually ends up going to a tip top section over here. Of course, multiple stairs that get us around. You can come up a ramp here. I think I'm actually gonna have to add a staircase over here as well so that this little platform on this tile has a way to get up to it. But then you'll notice that I can flip these again all around, and now the sidewalk still works that way to make a different layout. You could mess these up a bunch of different ways, rotating them and all that sort of thing. The one thing that I did do, and I made very clear effort to do this, is that I can do this with that layout, and then I can line this up here. So now I can make either a 3x3 and a 3x3, or now I could make a 3x6 that is a big, long, massive section of city, and it lines up that way, as well as I can line this up here. So this tip-top section lines up with this tip-top section to give a whole bunch of versatility and modularity to the whole thing. I'm excited. Okay, so step 1 and 1.5 was to get all of these cut out. Now, I cut them out of 2-inch thick XPS foam. This is the pink stuff. There is no difference between the pink stuff and the green stuff that I can get in my local area. That might be different for all of you, but definitely for me, pink or green, it doesn't really matter. I got these all cut out. I have piece 1 and 2, and then A, B, C, and D. The only difference is that these are 1.5 by 3. Put together will make a 3x3, and then these are all 1.5 by 1.5. Now, another thing that I noticed in buying this XPS specifically for this project, and I had never seen this before, is that it had grooves already pre-cut in it, which I assume is for construction purposes so that they can snap it to put it into walls easier. This was actually pretty frustrating for me because on the outside edges, I wanted to carve them to look like block, and those shapes just wouldn't look like organic things that would fit into block shapes. So the way that I handled that was I notched out a small area, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a bit of foam core to make it look like a pillar or something separating the block, and I'll just glue that into place to cover up all of those nasty little seams. The next bit was definitely the most challenging, and that was going to be to take all of this and then get all of the vertical pieces that were onto it, cut. So what I decided to do was just focus up, get them all cut, and for you, I'm going to instantly do it, right? So I am going to drop it in 1, 2, 3. I mean, other than me bumping this one, this is what it's gonna look like. And I am definitely excited about it. Now, it looks a little blank right now, and that's okay, because what's gonna happen is there's going to be sidewalks and streets that are going to fill out a lot of the more blank looking areas. But this gives me so many different options and heights that come down and things that are going to be interesting to play this game over. And I'm just so excited to see where this thing is going to go. With that said, that's what I've got for this week's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully this series will be fun for you to watch over the next couple of weeks. This thing is going to be awesome when it's done. So I am definitely excited for that. But the thing that I am not excited for is next, which is I have to cut all of the bricks for this thing, as well as carve all of the block into the walls of this thing. And that is going to take forever, but I will save that for you for next week. So, until next time, I'll be seeing you. YouTube stuff. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do that, because that helps the channel out a lot. Share this video with a friend that you think would enjoy it. Hit the notification bell if you want to stay up to date on this project. It will let you know every time I release a video about it. Leave me a comment below. If you have done something like this, give me words of inspiration, words of wisdom, anything like that. But that's it. Until next week, I'll be seeing you.